Yes, people, so we're going to talk about doomsday prepping. I was thinking about this. This isn't a story. I normally talk about stories and all the crazy stuff happening around the world, all the crazy news stories, but I want to talk about something. Putting our minds to something that is worthwhile and it's going to benefit us regardless of the situation, regardless if our situation on earth gets better or if it gets worse. Something that you can take with you and actually teach your kids so they are prepared for any type of situation. So, we're going to talk about doomsday prepping. And I've been seeing a couple of guys on TikTok here that have spoke about this, how they're preparing for it, what you should expect if something bad happens, cataclysmic happens, where we need to be on our toes, having a ready bag to go. Even better, having a bunker to go to, having supplies, having weapons, having the ability to live off the land. We're going to talk about all that now, and I want to know your opinion in this here. And I know there's a few people on YouTube speaking about this, and they're being censored. They're being censored on YouTube. I'll leave the handle for my YouTube down here. If you want to head over and subscribe to it, it's at HoldenOfficial1, all lowercase. Head over and subscribe and hit that notification bell. I'm not going to be posting there for a while because I'm on one copyright strike and two community guideline strikes. If I get another community guideline strike, my channel ceases to exist. Basically for nothing, for calling out YouTube for harbouring severe sex offenders. That's what I've got them for. That's a different story. Anybody wants to know about that, I'll make a separate video on that. But head over now and subscribe if you're into my YouTube channel, because I will be posting exclusive content onto that channel in the future. So one of the key things for me personally, if you're looking at the situation around the world, you've got Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine. We've got one that people aren't talking about, and that's Taiwan and China. Now, everybody's forced, every other country in the West is forced to sort of take the sides of if it's either Israel or if it's China or if it's Russia or Ukraine. We're forced to take sides, and what that does is that sort of promotes like a world war. And this is different from like any other war that we've been involved in, like World War One or World War Two, even Vietnam, even to a certain degree, after 9/11, Iraq and things like that, because you've got multiple different countries that are capable of nuclear warfare. And for me personally, because of that, we need to be ready for stuff that could happen. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out, that we need to be able to, one, live off the grid. So let's talk about living off the grid. If the grid goes down, electricity doesn't just goes away and there's no internet, maybe there's a solar flare, maybe there's an outside attack where it takes out our internet. Could you really live without internet and communications? You probably couldn't. I'm not going to be a hypocrite here. I'm used to the internet. I love speaking, making videos, talking, and all those things. But realistically, can you live without the internet? Of course you can. It'd be hard, but it's an instant detox for the people that aren't going to detox themselves away from it in the first place. So, very basic things like having days where you're not on your phone, right? Completely not on your phone, not using internet, and doing something productive, and you can use those days to learn a new skill. For me personally, what it is now, I've got myself a big load of rope, and I'm learning how to tie all different knots to make sure that if something happens, I live in like not a mountain range, but there's mountains beside me, and if the world goes tits up, I'm going to go up to that mountain range, and there's going to be a good possibility that I'm going to need to learn how to use certain knots to maybe keep something there, or to get myself up onto a base or a plateau or whatever. So for me, I'm learning how to tie knots on the days that I'm not using my phone. Do you know what I mean? And plus the added effect of that's detoxing me away from the internet. So when something does go tits up, it's not a shock to the system. Oh my God, I haven't spoke to my mum. How's my mum? My mum lives 500 miles away, or my brother, or my friends, and the thousands of people that follow me on social media, that will all become irrelevant. All of that. The second thing is obviously, well, it's the second thing, but it's actually the first thing that you'll be thinking about, during, if there is a cataclysmic event, would be shelter and family safety. So what I'm doing now is, what my plan is for the future, I want to get a couple of shipping containers and put them under the ground. Very, very basic stuff. I'm not a millionaire. And fill that full of stuff that's needed in a location that's remote and only I will know about, and my very, very close family members. So that's a place where I can go to and kit it out, airtight it, have save the money, and maybe put like, oxygen tanks in it, fill it full of food, have them all interconnecting with each other, but have one just for food. And that's going to last for a long time. For hopefully it could last you for a couple of years. And escape hatches and things like that. Just a little project where I can go to and know that, well, my family's safe. Even if I have to leave the basic and say, look, there's all the supplies that you need. If I go, if something happens to me, at least you can survive for a period of time. Shelter and food. Now, on the food thing, maybe some people can't do that. Can you hunt for an animal? Can you kill an animal? A rabbit, a deer? Can you forage for food? Well, look, use the internet now, I would say. Use the internet now to benefit you. Just get away from all the games and all the Instagram and all the social media bollocks and the Logan Pauls and the podcasts. Use the internet now to search your local area. Just type into YouTube your local area and bushcraft, and somebody will come up and they're teaching you how to, make certain teas from local ingredients, how to hunt for a rabbit, simple traps. Right beside me there's a we call it Rabbit City, and there's like an abundance of rabbits, millions of rabbits. And that would be the first place where I would be hunting for my food. Rabbits and their cows and their sheep, which can be hunted, and then foraging off the local fruits, the nuts. There's seasonal things all around you. Even if you're living in a city, there's seasonal things all around you that you can learn, and that's going to be essential for survival. Then obviously it's going to be, well, protection, keeping yourself safe. Now, we live in a country where it's not America, where you can't just go out and buy an AR-15, but you can buy a machete, you can buy a knife, and I would say use that wisely and use that responsibly. Don't go out and you're not using this to go out and hurt people. You're using this for, one, protection. If you do need to use it against somebody, it will only be used in a defensive way. Or you might need to use that for like foraging, having an axe, having a sort of a small handheld shovel. These things are essential, in my opinion. And then for the immediate, you have to leave, just say you can't use the car, you're going to have to walk with you and your family. The immediate fallout bag, as I call it, the reaction bag, you're going to need a bag filled with a tent, warm clothes, extra pair of clothes, socks, shoes, for all you and your family, and that will help you with food and whatever you think is necessary, put it in that bag, so whenever you have to go, you can go. It's there, it's sitting for you, it's in your house, you just lift it and you go. Obviously, I want to make a separate video on certain things. I've been researching a little bit. I want to make a separate video on like how society would go if it didn't go back to normal. It would turn into chaos, obviously. So, this video is coming up to 10 minutes now, so I'm going to leave it at that. But I'll make a separate video on how I think certain events would happen if there was like a solar flare or a bomb or whatever, a coup, a takeover, or whatever, a religious war. I'll give you my opinions on the aftermaths of all those different scenarios. And if you like this content, just let me know, and let me know your opinions in the comment section.